What if I told you that 572 years ago today, a man in Germany completed a project that would forever change human civilization? That this single book would destroy the monopoly on knowledge held by the elite and give ordinary people access to ideas for the first time in history. By the end of this video, you'll discover how September 30th, 1452, became the day that launched the information revolution and made the modern world possible. Picture this. It's September 30th, 1452, and you're standing in Johannes Gutenberg's workshop in Mainz, Germany. The air smells of oil-based ink and metal. After years of secret experiments, financial struggles, and countless failed attempts, Gutenberg is finally putting the finishing touches on something revolutionary. This isn't just any book being completed today. This is the Gutenberg Bible, and it's about to shatter the way knowledge works in the world. On this day in 1452, Johannes Gutenberg, a printer in Mainz, Germany, completed the first section of the Gutenberg Bible. Before the advent of the printing press, books were scarce and expensive treasures. Early codices were produced by hand by monks in scriptoria, working with pen and ink, copying manuscripts one page at a time. Even a small book would take months to complete, and a book the size of the Bible, rich with color and illuminations, would take years. A single book could take a monk an entire year to copy by hand. The Bible? That took several years and cost about 3 years' wages for a clerk. At least some copies are known to have sold for 30 florins, equivalent to approximately 100 grams or 3.5 ounces of gold, which was comparable to about 3 years' wages for a clerk. But Gutenberg had a revolutionary idea. Instead of copying entire words or pages, he broke down writing into its most minor parts, individual letters. Gutenberg's genius was to separate each element of the beautiful calligraphic black-letter script, commonly used by the scribes, into its most basic components: lowercase and capital letters, punctuation, and the connected ligatures that were standard in medieval calligraphy. Nearly 300 different shapes that were then each cast in quantity and assembled to form words, lines, and full pages of text. He invented everything from scratch: a special metal alloy that could melt easily but cool into a durable type, oil-based ink that would stick to metal and transfer perfectly to paper, and a printing press adapted from wine presses that could apply even pressure across an entire page. The results were staggering. A single Renaissance movable-type printing press could produce up to 3,600 pages per workday, compared to 40 by hand printing, and a few by hand copying. He probably produced around 180 copies, 145 printed on handmade paper imported from Italy, and the remainder on more luxurious and expensive vellum. The impact was immediate and explosive. The Bible seems to have sold out immediately, with some initial purchases as far away as England and possibly Sweden and Hungary. Less than 50 years after Gutenberg printed the Bible, over 1,000 print shops had sprung up in more than 200 European cities and towns. They turned out more than 10 million copies of books in Latin and other European languages. But this wasn't just about making books faster or cheaper. Gutenberg had accidentally launched something far more powerful: the democratization of knowledge. Books became more affordable in price and available to anyone who could read them. Books were no longer chained in libraries. A printing revolution significantly contributed to the Protestant Reformation, which ultimately led to the division of the Catholic Church. Martin Luther's ideas spread like wildfire because they could be printed and distributed quickly. Johann Gutenberg's invention of movable-type printing quickened the spread of knowledge, discoveries, and literacy in Renaissance Europe. The immediate ripple effects of Gutenberg's press were manifold. An information ecosystem emerged as the press enabled faster and more accurate duplication of texts, making knowledge easier to distribute. New ideas and discoveries could travel far beyond their place of origin. Before the advent of the printing press, knowledge was controlled by a small elite, comprising the church, nobility, and universities. Ordinary people had limited access to books, learning, and diverse ideas. The printing press broke this monopoly forever, creating the first information revolution in human history. Think about this. Every book you've ever read, every newspaper, magazine, or printed document you've encountered exists because of what Gutenberg completed on September 30th, 1452. Even our digital world, with ebooks, websites, and social media, follows the same principle, making information accessible to everyone, not just the powerful few. Described as one of the most recognized names in the world, a team of U.S. journalists voted Gutenberg as the man of the millennium in 1999. His design had a direct impact on the widespread dissemination of books across Europe, triggering an information revolution. Without Gutenberg's breakthrough, there would have been no Renaissance, no scientific revolution, no Reformation, and no Enlightenment. Democracy itself might have been impossible, as it requires an informed population with access to ideas and information. Today, only 49 copies of the original Gutenberg Bible survive, and they're considered among the world's most valuable books. However, the real treasure isn't the physical books. It's the idea that knowledge should be accessible to everyone, not just the elite. What knowledge revolution are you part of today? How are you using your access to information to learn, grow, and make a difference? Drop a comment below and tell me about the book or idea that changed your life. I guarantee Gutenberg would be amazed to see how his revolution continues to impact us today. And if this story of how one man's innovation transformed human civilization inspired you, hit that subscribe button and join the History Sparks community. Every day, we explore the moments when human ingenuity changed everything, proving that sometimes the most powerful weapon is simply an idea that everyone can access. Until next time, keep sparking curiosity.